Welcome to No Fun Channel. I'm Felix, and it is hot. Because it's been so hot, I haven't been doing a lot of things. I have been still trying to work out, but it's hot. I'm probably just losing weight from sweating. I did go for a walk today. Me and my wife walked. We actually stopped off, grabbed something to eat, and walked home. Man, it's hot. I actually technically walked twice, but they were short distance. I had to walk to get our car. It was at the garage, but it's like a short distance. So I walked up there. The upside to the walk is there's a hill next to where I live. Now, I don't have to go up the hill to get to the main road. There's another way I can go. But I was like, I'm taking the main road. Or I'm taking the hill to get to the main road. Because it's hard. It's a steep hill, so it's hard to walk up it. And that's why I always take it. Trying to push myself. But yeah, this heat is killing me. My wife was worried about the air conditioner. I was like, well, what's the temp outside? And the temp's in the 80s and 90s in some places. I don't even know what it is around here. But I know it was up. And ours is doing pretty good. So, like, I don't know what you're worried about, but it's keeping up. Just don't worry about it. Did I mention it was hot? And I'm so happy I cut my hair off. I think I'm not shaved. I think I was shaved in the last video. But since the last video, it's gotten hotter, it feels like. I know there's heat waves all over the place. Things are catching fire. I don't know, man. I don't know if I can take this heat anymore. I'm too old for this heat. I can't take it anymore. I've been getting headaches, too. I noticed the hotter it gets, the more my head hurts. Usually it's the other way around, and the cooler it gets, the more my head hurts. But this time it's been, the hotter it gets, the more my head hurts. It's like, what is going on? And I went for a walk with my kids yesterday, and I had a headache. I had a headache before we went on a walk. Lately I've noticed if my blood pressure's up, I'll get a headache. But if I start being active, moving around for some reason, it seems to go away. Like once I get my heart pumping and stuff, it seems to lower. This time, I'm stuttering. The headache did not go away. It lingered, and it was just like, what's going on? So I ended up taking some Tylenol, and it finally started to subside. Now it's coming back. And also, as I've gotten older, my snoring has gotten worse. I've always snored, but now it's really bad. My wife's saying I stop breathing sometimes. And that's one of the reasons I made my wife get checked out when she was having issues snoring. But since she's lost weight, she doesn't snore anymore. Only time she snores if she's clogged. And I know mine, I can snore with my mouth closed, so it's definitely my sinuses. Because I woke up and I was all concocted some weird way, and my mouth was closed, and I was snoring. So it's definitely not my mouth. There's something to do with my sinuses. And I noticed I had some nose spray I was using. If I used the nose spray, I could breathe fine as I was sleeping. And I woke up re-energized. I wasn't sleepy or tired. So it's definitely my sinuses. But usually in the heat, it opens my sinuses. I've been having the opposite effect. It's like it's closing my sinuses, giving me headaches. I don't know what's going on. It's like I'm a thermometer and the temperature's rising. It's probably killing me. And I don't know why it's doing the opposite. It's usually, like I said, if it's cold, I got headaches. If it's warm, I can literally hear my nose pop open and I'm like, I'm breathing. It's all good. But not this time around. It's pretty bad. And I'm not sure what else. I've just been trying to stay active. I know if I keep moving and be active, that seems to help. But as soon as I get stationary, it's all in. I don't know if the mic's picking up, but my voice keeps shifting too because of my nose. Yeah, I could taste that one. But yeah, I don't know what's going on with the heat, but it's definitely messing with me this year. One of the things I was wanting to do is find a regular skit to put on here, and I haven't really found one. I don't think they did a Who Am I? I'm trying to find something regular to do, and I haven't really found anything. not necessarily a skit, but a regular thing to put on here, and I haven't found anything. Hopefully I'll find something. Technically, I haven't been looking because, like I said, it's been hot. But relationships, I was thinking about that. But although there's one thing that was getting annoying, sometimes I'll scroll through Instagram looking at stuff, and I don't go on my way to look for certain things, but all of a sudden I'm starting to get Sabrina Carpenter and Gypsy Rose stuff. And then all of a sudden we watched Saturday Night Live and there happened to be an episode with Sabrina Carpenter on it. It's like, okay, I watched it. If anyone's trying to tell me something, it's not a very clear message. And just been getting a lot of Gypsy Rose stuff. So I don't go looking for Gypsy Rose. She just shows up on my Facebook. Like, I don't get it, but yeah, she's there. So I tell my wife, since she's got out of prison, it looks like she's been eating well. But other than that, I don't know why that's popping up on there. And then, yeah, I wish I could clear out my history or something. I can't do it on or at least I have never been able to find it to clear it out. I could care less about those two people. So it's like, why are they coming? Like, for a while there, also, I was getting a lot of Billie Eilish. It's like, now her, I actually did click on some, but I didn't know it was her. The next thing I know, it was Billie. It's like, come on, enough. Because it was showing a shirt, but now I get they were actually trying to zoom in on her breast. So it's like, whoever posted it is like, okay, whatever. And I just kept going. And then finally I stopped getting a bunch of her stuff. Actually, some of hers did pop up, but I just kept going. It's like, I'm good. But lately, yeah, I don't get her much anymore. Now today, I didn't notice. Was I on it today? Yeah, I was on it today. I didn't notice. I'll get on there and look at the reels and stuff, but I didn't notice anything about those two. No, there was something about Gypsy Rose, and I just kept going. I forgot about it. But yeah, it's weird how you click on one thing. I'm not even sure why they started popping up. I don't remember what I would have clicked on for them to pop up. But other things start popping up. And I was getting a lot of baby pics. I do look at baby pics, because especially if it's like a baby and the kids with their father. It just reminds me of me raising my kids. My daughter's almost an adult, which is sad and good. 'Cause I like to think I did a good job raising her, so we'll find out when she gets out there in the real world when I kick her out the house at 18. When she was 15, I started counting down. I said, 5 more years. She's like, shut up. I was like, nope, 5 more years and I'm kicking you out. And the reason that came out because we were talking about, there's my voice. My voice changed again. I wonder if just my ears is hearing it different and the mic's not hearing it different, but it sounds different. But the reason I started doing countdown with her is because there was TikToks and all this stuff about, well, the kids' point of view, they got kicked out at 18. And I'm so happy I got the mom I did. Or at least the family did. No one in my family's ever kicked out their kid at 18. And that's so weird. And before anyone thinks it's a black thing, no, it's a black, white, Asian, Hispanic. I've seen all the above. So it's not like a cultural thing. It's just a bad parent thing. And then there was even one where, I don't know how real it was, but it was a TikTok. So it was one of those TikTok Reddit, supposedly Reddit stories. I don't know how real it was, but the person talking about their parents gave them a bill at 18 and talking about we can set up a payment plan. I was like, that's not how that works. So, yeah. So I'm just glad I had the parents I did have. I mean, sadly, towards the end, me and my dad didn't get along, but overall, as far as I like to think he wouldn't have done anything like that, but like I said, towards the end, we didn't get along. But anyways, yeah, I don't get parents who do that stuff. It's like, why did you even have kids? You should just give them up for adoption. And another thing I never understood, if you don't want to be a parent, just give your kid up for adoption. Don't do something to them. Don't hurt them. Don't do any of that stuff. Just give them up for adoption. Get out their life. They'll probably be better off without you. But yeah, what are you going to do? But I did make a list of things I was going to try to talk about today. I got 8 things here. And the first thing on my list, something that popped in my head. I forget what I was watching. Oh, I was watching something about, I want to say it was Philippines. This Filipino heavyset woman talking about she only dates the blacks because the blacks don't care that she's overweight. And I was thinking about that, and that's for the way, they always talk about black men dating fat women. I never thought that was true because, one, I'm a black man, but other reasons. I think black men in general are more likely to date a woman they like versus dating someone that people think they should date. That's been my experience from what I've seen. And so as a result, black men get caught out for only dating white women, only dating fat white women, only dating fat people, only dating this. It's like, no, we date the whole rainbow. And then when I would hear about black women talking about all the black men or all the good black men are gone or all the good black men are dating white women and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, because they probably don't want to put up with your crazy ass. I think I've said this before. Every time I hear that, you can't handle me, I shouldn't have to handle you. You should handle yourself. So, but I'm off topic there. Went off topic. What the real... Sorry, my head is starting to hurt again. Okay, let's try this again. The real thing that I wrote down was about confidence. And I was thinking about that. When I see overweight people talking about they can't find anyone, they're going to die alone, I'm thinking, no, that's you. Because even when I started to get fat, I could still get some. And I know some people, well, you're a man, it's different. No, it's not actually. It's not that different. Trust me. Women, especially I've seen it more in women, where they will think their weight determines if they're going to die alone. And it's not true. What determines if you're going to die alone is you. You determine that. And male or female, one of the things I've noticed is, I think I did talk about this before, but one of the things that I did notice is the confidence. If you're not a confident person, that comes across. And a lot of times people don't like that. They don't want to be with someone who's not confident. I noticed when I would put on a confident facade, and yes, it was a facade, the girls were more interested. And it's just like, I had to learn how to capitalize on that. And sometimes I could, sometimes I couldn't. But yeah, it is a confidence thing. If you are confident, you don't even have to be, think about this for a second. How many times have you seen the jacked up guy with the hot girl? And of course, the fourth thing is, they got money. Then you discover the guy doesn't have money. But he's got like 14 kids. Because he was confident enough to go up to the girl and talk to her. And the same can be true for women. How many times have you seen the woman who's not that attractive, but still getting the attractive guy? And you're like, she's got to have money. And it turns out she doesn't have money. She's just confident in who she is. And that comes across. People pick up on that. And confidence does cause people to be drawn towards you. The more confident you are, the more people are drawn to you. And it doesn't hurt, especially if you're positive and confident, that really would draw them in. So if you got those two things going, people can pick up on it. Now, people can also pick up on fake confidence and fake positivity. They can pick up on the fake positivity more than the fake confidence. But yeah, if you're giving off fake positivity, a lot of times people will pick that up. And it's the energy. I hate to say this. It's the energy, the vibe you're giving off. It's your body language. There we go. That's a better description. It's the body language you're giving off. If you're giving off crappy body language and you're kind of standoffish but yet still trying to come across as positive, people pick up on it. I know I've done it a lot of times where I gave off the fake positive, but it was obvious, it was fake positive. Now, I could fake the positive when I had a few drinks because that little voice in my head would get drunk and just disappear. And the other voice would like, go for it. So there's that. I don't recommend getting drunk in order to find someone or to get laid. Especially in this day and age, I highly don't recommend that. Because even back then, I didn't really recommend it. But what I'm getting at is that too many times you can have the guy who is piss-ass drunk still get accused of SA, and the girl who's sober accusing him. It's like, he was blacked out drunk. How is he guilty? And that's really happened. That's not a made up thing. Guys in that situation, there have been guys in that situation. So, and also in relationships, they talk about the number of people being born is dropped across the board. And it's because dating is not what it used to be on both sides. Like, especially if you're a guy dating a woman, I don't know what the deal is, but I'll see it more on the female side than the male side, where they'll post about their date. They'll post everything about the date. And then the same people, same female, same girl will be like, I don't understand why I'm single. It's like, you post everything. Not all guys want to have everything put out there. They want to be in a relationship with you, not the internet. And every now and again, I'll see guys who do the same thing. But I have to point this out. When I see guys do it, they don't give as much information about the girl. Versus the girl will even give the guy's real name, say all this stuff, and pretty much to the point where you could probably find the guy. And girls or guys don't necessarily do to that extreme. So, yeah, there's some differences there when it comes to dating. But confidence does have a lot to do with whether or not you're going to be alone or not. And it also has to do with, are you actually out there doing anything to where people can find you? I saw a TikTok skit where it talked about an introvert, how an introvert expects their significant other to show up. Like, they just knock on the window and say, hey, let's get married. Okay. Like, yeah, that's not how that works. You got to be somehow out there. In this day and age, you can just be on social media or the internet and you can meet someone. But yeah, you got to, no matter what, you got to put yourself out there. Whether it's you asking someone out or just putting it out there, hey, anybody want to go out? Something like that. But yeah, you got to get out there. You got to have a little bit of confidence to at least put yourself out there. But something else popped in my head while I was talking about this is that I saw someone going after Joey Swole for attacking women. It was like, I've heard that before, but I mean, majority of the time when I see his clips, it's usually some white guy. So I was like, but when I do see females, it's usually the female who's lying about what's going on. Whether we're talking about someone's getting death threats, it's like, death threats are not okay. Flooding their page is not okay. Maybe saying, hey, why'd you do that? But all the other stuff, no, you're going to extremes. There's so many extreme people out there. It's like, it's sad. And the internet makes so many people brave. And on that Joy Swole thing, there was a guy who stitched the girl's video and said, the internet has made a lot of brave people, because these people wouldn't say it to your face. And he's not wrong. Because it's like, if you're brave enough to say it on the internet, you should be brave enough to say that to someone's face. And they're not brave enough to do it. Most of these people who do this stuff are shut-ins or just straight up cowards. And it's not always guys either. People always make it seem like it's some middle-aged white guy. In this day and age, it's actually not. It's all the above. It's everyone doing it. It's a lot of people from different age ranges, from teenagers to old people. They're all becoming keyboard warriors, thinking they can just say whatever they want without consequences. And that's not true. It's like another thing I just watched. These two guys are at a border patrol and they refused to answer questions. I don't think those two idiots realized those border patrol people do not have to let you back in the USA. They can literally stop you from returning to the USA. They do not have to let you in. You can refuse to answer a question and they can deny your entry. And a lot of people say, hey, can't deny it. Yes, they can, because you refuse to prove who you are. So yeah, they can deny who you are. They can deny you entry to the country. If you don't have some way to prove that you belong in this country, they don't have to let you in. You are denied. So yeah. And this, you had Facebook lawyers, as they were calling them, talking about nautical miles. This guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Yeah, the guy actually did know what he's talking about. It is nautical miles. I looked into it, and cause I heard that too, and I was like, there's got to be a reason he stated that way. And it's the language upon which the particular law is written, and the guy wasn't wrong. The cop wasn't wrong. The border patrol people were not in the wrong at all. And I love the comments. All the comments talking about, I thought they were this and that. How come I thought they were all for the law, for the cops and all this stuff? Now, they're all for the cops and stuff until it applies to them. They're all about the law until it applies to them. And that's what happened there. And those guys could be facing up to a year in jail. All because they were being idiots. If you leave the U.S. and go to another country, you got to have some kind of documentation showing that you belong in this country. They don't have to let you back in. Everyone thinks, oh, I'm American, they just let me back in. No. If you can't prove If you can't prove you're a U.S. citizen, they do not have to let you back in the country. End of discussion. Yet those Border Patrol people were super patient. Because I would have been like, that's enough. Yank them out the truck, throw them behind the bars. I would have been done. I would have been done so fast. It was like, yank them out, throw them behind the bars. They're going to sit there for a year until they're willing to prove that they belong in this country. And that's what I would have done. Because those two guys were just being a-holes. It's just like, this is stupid. You guys are a-holes. And you deserve what's coming your way. Hope they get like a year in jail or more. Because, like I said, those Border Patrol people were patient. And I don't have the patience for that crap. That's probably a good thing I don't work those jobs. But, yeah. All right. So that came out of nowhere. Went from Joey Swoles to Border Patrol. Oh, back on the Joey Swoles, they were talking about, he only attacks women. And I think they also say he only attacks black people. Like, I've seen him attack everyone. Well, let me rephrase it. He's not attacking. I've seen him go after everyone. I wouldn't say he's attacking. He's pointing out that you're in the wrong. And so far, every video I've seen of his, everyone's been in the wrong. Unless you can show me a video where the person wasn't in the wrong, every video, they've been in the wrong. White, black, male, female. They've always been in the wrong. And I just think that's interesting that they're saying that he's in the wrong for pointing out that they're in the wrong. Unless there's some videos I missed, I don't follow him actually. He pops up on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, because I'm on there. So he's bound to pop up here and there. And what's funny is like, I have not seen a video where I'm like, no, Joey, you were wrong. I have not seen that video yet. I'm not a fan of his. I don't follow him. But even I can see that he points out the flaws in everyone. If you're in the wrong, he points it out. So unless there's a video I missed, someone pointed out to me, actually give me the link to that video so I can go see it. And so I haven't seen it personally. And again, like I said, I haven't gone to his webpage to look over all his videos, but if you can find it, share it. Cause I always hear people say, you only attacks women, you only does this and does that. Prove it. Put it out there. Prove it. Back it up. And I haven't seen anyone do that. I actually have not seen anyone do that. So there's that. But I'm looking at my list. Oh, this one's something I really wanted to talk about. It popped up again on my phone where the little black boy was getting his hair cut off because he was accused of doing something. I don't even remember what he was accused of doing. That little boy was screaming his head off. And even as his hair was getting cut, he kept saying, I didn't do it. I didn't do it. And they still cut his hair off and he kept screaming as his hair was getting off. I didn't do it. The boy's interior, he's screaming, screaming, screaming. That is the wrong way to punish your kid. I've never believed in those punishments. I don't get parents who go to that extreme like that. My son used to be very defiant. I would have to like physically restrain him sometimes, but I never once thought about cutting his hair off. I, in turn, felt like a horrible parent that I had to physically restrain him when he was younger, but I never once thought about cutting his hair off. Well, I think about cutting his hair off now because he doesn't take care of it, but I make him wash it and pick it and comb it. But back on topic, those videos are old now, so I kind of wonder what kind of relationship do these kids have with their parents, if any relationship? Because I can see these kids, one, never turning to their parents for anything, at least that parent. Two, no contact with these parents. And three, no contact with these parents. If your parenting is to go to that extreme, here's also my thing with the young boy who got his hair cut off. What if it turned out he didn't do it? Did you actually go and prove he did it? Because in the video, there's really nothing saying that he actually proved his son did it. And I don't remember them actually saying what his son did. And even so, they weren't punish him like that. Because sometimes you hear about what the kid did and you're like, that's not equal punishment for the crime. And now there was one where a girl was making fun of a girl who had cancer. I would have made my daughter work at a hospital. I'd be like, you're going to volunteer at a hospital for a year. And you're going to work the cancer wing, the ring. I'll make sure you work with cancer patients. I'm going to make sure you work with everyone who's dying. And then I want you to tell me how funny you think it is. That's what I would have done. I would have got her a job working at a hospital or working in a cancer ward or something like that. Something something working with cancer children, and be like, you still think it's funny? But if I remember correctly, the mother, I think, cut the daughter's hair off. So sometimes these parents go too far. Now, there was the one that was funny where the dad wore what the daughter was wearing because he didn't want her wearing like pretty much Daisy Dukes. And I think she was pretty young. So he wore that to pick her up, and she was so embarrassed. Like, what's the problem? This is what you're wearing. And I think he got his point across, like, pretty much, I don't want you wearing these clothes. You shouldn't be wearing these clothes because you're too young to be wearing these clothes. So that's one thing. That's a comical way to embarrass your kid and kind of get your point across. But even that is still kind of extreme. It is extreme. Not so no. I, on the other hand, if my kids are wearing something that I think is inappropriate or something they shouldn't be wearing, one thing I point out to them is like, I bought you clothes. I can get rid of all your clothes. And also point out to them, when you start buying your own clothes, then you can decide and stuff. And like my son had these pair of pants that I don't know why, they didn't fit anymore. But he still loved wearing them. Like, no, we're not going anywhere with you in those pants. Go change. I said, I will physically take you upstairs and make you change. And I've had to do that with my daughter. And it's like, go change. She's like, but I'm a girl. I said, I'll close my eyes, but you're not wearing that. I wouldn't actually done it. But the point is, I have a nice relationship with my kids to where they know if they cross that line with me, there are consequences. And I think that's the problem with a lot of those parents who go to extremes is that they haven't instilled that in their kids. They probably let their kids get away with so much, and then finally it came back on them. And those parents were like, oh, I have not been parenting my kids. So they go to the extreme to try to correct it. And that's a mistake. You can't go from one extreme to the other. And you'll just mess your kid up. You'll mess up your relationship with your kid. And then that's that. But I always wonder what the relationship is now between those kids and their parents. Because I'll be honest, if I was that little black boy, and I 100% didn't do it, and I knew I didn't do it, but my parents didn't believe me, I would never talk to my parents again. I just do the bare minimum at home. I do what they tell me, barely talk to them. And if they got mad about it, I said, I don't want to talk to you. Because if I talk to you, you're not going to believe anything I say. So there's no point in talking to you. And if they decide to punish me for that, then I really know where I stand with them. It's like, you're not wanting to talk to me. You just want to punish me. So punish me. You're not going to listen to me. You're not going to believe anything I'm saying. So what's the point? So that's kind of what happened with me and my dad. Well, no, I wouldn't say it that way, but basically it came down to the problem with me and my dad is as I became an adult, he realized I didn't need him as much. And it became a competition for some reason with him because I wasn't living the life he was living. And we did have a blowout, and I thought we got past that, and he brought it up again. And what he failed to realize, he started that fight. And even till the day he died, I know he never took credit for that fight. He started that whole fight. The reason he and I never talked anymore was because of him. And he did write a letter. I read it. Now, it wasn't like a deathbed letter. He wrote it a long time ago. And I told my mom and sister to keep it. And I looked at it over, glanced at it. He never took credit for any of the crap he did. So, I thought I would read the letter and be like, oh, he's taking responsibility. Nah, nope, no. And it's like, if you're that type of parent to where, I'll see those TikToks where the kids will talk about what happened to them as kids. It's like, and they'll play both sides, and the moms they'll be doing the parent side. Like, I never touched you. Like, you knocked me unconscious. But I remember watching a TikTok where a podcaster actually had his parents on. And he's talking about all the things. We didn't do that. You brought us on here just to embarrass. Like, you did that crap to me. And, parents didn't. Those are dangerous people. And let me tell you, like, I cut my dad out, But if your parents were really that abusive, why are you still talking to them? That's my thing. And I get that there's, you were beaten into loving your parents, basically. But now you need to seek psychological help and get away from them. They are not good people. I'm sorry, they're not. Just get away from them. I know they put on the facade and make everyone around them think they're a good person, but the reality is they are not good people. So get away from them. And I've never been one to not cut someone out. I started doing it young, and I love the fact that I do it. I feel so much better when I start cutting people out. My sister's not that way. She can't do it. And that's her. You don't have to cut people out, but to me, it makes more sense because you will feel so much better when you do. Just get that toxicity out of your way. And it's just, like I was talking to my sister, I didn't realize how different she is from what I thought she was, and how different she and I are when it comes to a lot of things. It's like, how? Well, yeah, we're adults now, so I think when I was a kid, it just seemed like we were on the same page, but now we're not with certain things. So yeah, there's that. But on my list I had talk about relationships more. I guess I did that. Well, one thing I was talking about, the other thing I was going to talk about Joey Swell is talking about working out. My workout has kind of tanked right now. I'm doing 5 push-ups every day, except on the weekend. I posted that and someone said, "Oh, don't take breaks." Well, I'm doing more than just 5 push-ups. I do the 5 push-ups, but I'm doing like upper body workout as well, trying to get rid of the man boobs. But you do gotta take breaks, because I do remember a time when it came to working out, they tried to get rid of rest. Don't ever rest, just keep working out. No, you need to rest your body. There needs to be a rest day. At least I believe it really was 2 days of rest. Because you're how they put it, you're breaking down the muscles in your body. Basically, you're damaging your muscles, and you need to let them rest to heal. And you don't need to take a week off. You don't need to work out a week and then take a week off. But if you're going to work out, you shouldn't be working out 7 days a week. You actually should not be working out 7 days a week. At most, I would say if you're doing every day, you should be working out different body parts. But if you're working out every day and that's not your life, in the sense that you don't get paid to be in shape, to me, I feel like you should talk to someone. For some people, that's their therapy, is working out. But also, it's not really a good therapy because you're not really dealing with the issue. But yeah, you need a rest period. And also, I remember another article. There was a research done on whether or not you need to break up your workout or do the whole workout at once. Like, do 3 sets of 10 or do 30 reps all at once. And what they discovered is there was no significant difference between doing all 3 or doing it all at once. And I found if I do the reps all at once, I, one, get done with my workout a little faster because I'm not taking a break in between reps. And 2, I feel like I get a better workout. Like my arm is more sore, if that makes sense. I just feel like I got a better workout if I do all the reps at once. So I just do 30 curls, 30 chest press, 30 this, 30 that. And I just feel better doing it that way. And I've been doing it that way for years. Well, when I work out, I do it that way. It's amazing how much weight I put on and how much in denial I was with my weight. It wasn't until I realized that how low my gut was hanging. It's like, oh, I am fat. I used to joke when I was younger, like, man, if I ever looked like that, put me out of my misery. I was never ripped, but I was in good shape. I could walk for miles, not break a sweat, go for days doing stuff, I could be in the bedroom for 2 hours, I was that machine. And like I said, I wasn't ripped, but I was in shape, and I could just do all kinds of stuff, Big girl, skinny girl, I can hold my breath for a while. But yeah, it's now it's like I'm pushing myself to try to get back there. I think it's going. I think I'll get there. Like I said, I'm not shooting to do this overnight. I know it's the progress. I just gotta keep at it. I do feel like my pants are fitting looser. Though I haven't really lost any more weight. I'm stuck in the 360 range. I think for over a year I was stuck in the 370 range. So it may be another stuck in the 360 range for a year, and then next year get in the 350 range. But I'm slowly working on it. Like I said, my biggest problem is eating. I've been working on it. Oh, I started this new thing when it comes to eating. overall we're programmed to eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But I don't know how many people realize this, but in a lot of countries, they don't do that. They don't do the 3 meals a day. They eat when they're hungry, and that's that. So I've actually started doing that. And 2 things I've noticed is, one, I'm not as hungry as much anymore. And the other thing is, I don't think I snack as much either. I don't feel like I snack as much. Let's put it that way. The other thing also is I don't eat as much. Like I had a nice sized steak. Any other time I could devour that steak. It'd be gone. This time around, couldn't eat it all. It's like, I can usually eat this whole thing by myself. I didn't have any sides or anything. I was just the steak. I'm going to chew up this steak and nope, barely ate half of it. So I think trying to eat when I'm hungry and not eating because it's time to eat is making a huge difference. So I'm going to try to keep doing that and see what kind of results I get. That could also, because it does feel like my pants are a little looser. So I'm going to keep doing it. Just eat when I'm hungry. I've been drinking a lot of water. Make sure I got my water. Just going to town with my water. Otherwise, I eat when I'm hungry. And sometimes I eat once a day now. I don't necessarily eat breakfast. If I wake up hungry, I'll eat breakfast. But if I don't wake up hungry, I don't eat breakfast. And normally my lunch is at 12:30, but I eat from home or I live at home. I work from home. So sometimes I'll quickly go and throw something in the microwave or something, I put some boiling water on and try to make soup or something, noodles in between calls. And I just eat that and then I'm good the rest of the day until dinner. Like that's be my brunch. And then I'm good until dinner if I'm hungry at dinner. Because sometimes dinner will roll around lately and I'm not hungry. And I'll tell my wife, like, if you guys are hungry, go ahead, but I'm not hungry. And I've been putting my foot more down by ordering out. It's like, I'm not hungry. And my wife's like, but you gotta do something. I said, don't worry about it. I said, I'll eat when I'm hungry. I'm not hungry. And so they have been ordering more without me, but they haven't been ordering as much lately. I noticed too, where they don't order out as much. And I think it's mainly because I think my wife might feel kind of guilty ordering food without me, which not necessarily a bad thing, So, there's nothing wrong with not eating out. We have food in the house, so let's eat it. But yeah, I started doing that, and I do feel better because of that. Ooh, I wonder if that's why I'm getting headaches. My body, even though my part of my body's like, you don't need to eat, we're not hungry. Maybe another part of my body's like, what is this crap? You must eat 24/7, so we will give you headache. I don't know, but yeah, I did buy. That reminded me. I talked about snoring earlier. I bought some snore spray just to try it out. I haven't tried it yet, so just see what it does. It's definitely my sinuses messing with me. So we'll see what happens when I try that snore stuff. I'm assuming the snore stuff is probably just medicine that'll open your sinuses. I wonder if that's something I can use on a daily basis too. That's the thing. If it turns out that it works, I want something I can use on a daily basis. The other stuff I had, you can't use on a daily basis. So it's like, I can't use that every day. I don't want to use that every day because that drives your sinuses out. And the other stuff was just clogging me up too. It pretty much stopped my nose from running, but it clogged me up. Ooh, there's another reason I could be getting headaches. I'm clogged. Oh, maybe that's why I'm getting headaches because the heat is trying to, and I haven't used that spray stuff in I think it's been about a week since I used it. So you think my stuff would have opened up and drained out, but oh well. Hopefully, I get this figured out. Cause I did have a CPAP machine, but I was snoring through it, and I even tried doing snore. I didn't even try doing nose spray with the CPAP, and it just didn't work. And my sinuses will block up so easily anymore. And I even tried like the breathe strips. I'm tempted to get tubes and just shove up my nose, but cause I tried to get. I bought one of those things that you wrap around your head. But the problem was it was pushing back on it. I was like, I don't want that. It doesn't feel comfortable. And I kept looking at the instructions how to wear it. I was like, I had it on right, but it did not feel comfortable. It wasn't just holding my mouth shut. It was pulling it back. I was like, no, I don't want this. Like, I didn't spend that much money on it. So there's that. But yeah, I'm hoping maybe working out will help my snoring. But I snored when I was much smaller, so maybe at least it'll go back to not being as bad. It's the only thing I can think of. But yeah, so we'll see what happens. But what's another thing I was going to talk about? I put this on there. These two things kind of go together. Where I listed on there slacking on becoming internet famous. I have been slacking. Like I'm doing my sci-fi stuff. This goes back to the heat. I don't feel like doing anything. It's so hot. I don't want to do anything. I just want to lay there and just let the sweat pour off me. I got a video I still need to edit for my sci-fi stuff. I haven't been doing any React videos. I have React videos I'm going to react. I haven't done any of them. I'm just so drained of energy. This heat has literally robbed me of energy. I don't know. I have never felt this bad in the heat, but I've been trying to push through it. So once I get this video recorded, I'll try to edit it. Oh my God, I cannot think. Yeah, this heat is whooping my ass. It's like, damn. But on the other thing about slacking on being internet famous, I also was thinking about if I ever become famous, I am not touring. It's like it's some kind of unwritten rule. If you become famous, you have to tour. Even podcasts are touring. I think in the beginning with podcasts, that was not a big thing. I don't know when touring for podcasts really became a thing. I don't think it's been that big of a thing for a long time. I would say maybe after COVID, touring podcasts really became a thing. But yeah, you see podcast tours now. It's like, that's a thing? People tour with their podcast? But because like every podcast I watch, they tour now. And it's like, okay, I'm not doing that if I ever blow up. And people, you gotta get out and meet your friends. Do I? I'm kind of antisocial, so no. And most people who would follow me or be into me probably wouldn't want to meet either because they're antisocial. So we antisocial people gotta stick together and continue to be antisocial. But yeah, I was just thinking about that. It's like, nope, not doing that. But yeah, I forget why I thought it. Oh, it's because I saw the podcast tours and people were touring, and that's what made me think of it. But yeah, I'm not touring. Even if I put music out, I probably wouldn't tour. I just do social media. I'll do a social media tour. I'll be on YouTube and do a tour, and then I'll go to do a different tour. And, I'll do that. That's what they tried to do with during COVID, have Zoom tours. So I would do that. But I finished Babylon 5, all 5 seasons, and I started watching Deep Space Nine, Star Trek Deep Space Nine, and the beginning of Deep Space Nine kind of starts off like Babylon 5. They're getting things established, who's who and all that stuff. But then I want to say the first 2 seasons, they kind of don't talk about anything that's coming in season 3. They kind of I think it was season 1, Odo finds out he's a changeling. And that's what they call his people, changelings. And then season 3, I forget which episode. I think season 3, maybe towards the end of season 2. I'm trying to remember. But I'm still on season 1. But yeah, I remember they don't really start that stuff till later on. And I think it was season 2 or 3. Because they were on for 7 seasons. So I think it was season 3 they started really doing the storylines that kind of resemble Babylon 5. And now I think about it, it's like, why'd they wait so long to really dive into it? I understand world building. They could have did that the first season and then moved on. They could have had 7 seasons of Dominion stuff, I mean, when the Dominion War was going, that's the best part of DS9 to me. It's the whole the Celestial stuff was garbage, in my opinion. But the Dominion War, that was the best part. We got to see sides of Cisco. And I like the comments people made about Cisco and Picard. Picard is the diplomat. Cisco is the guy that's going to do what needs to be done. And I think that's why I like Cisco more. because he's a no-nonsense guy, and he knows what needs to be done. Whether he wants to do it or not, he knows it's got to be done. The things he did, Picard would never have done, and they would have lost the Dominion War. I'm not the first to say that. If Picard was in charge of the Dominion War, they would have lost. Because Dominion was not playing fair, and Sisko knew that, so he had to do things to stop the war. And the stuff with the Bajoran resistance and the Cardassians, Picard would have tried to find a diplomatic solution. Sisko was done with that. He's like, diplomatic, kiss my ass. And he went and did what needed to be done. And he shut him down. But yeah, I was just thinking about the similarities between the two. Cause I think it was season 3, or the start of season 3 in Babylon 5, when they brought in the White Star. Is that the name of that ship? I don't remember the ship. And then I think it was in season 3 for Babylon, or for DS9 too, they brought in Defiant. So you had those 2 seasons. So it must have been season 2 that they learned about the changelings in the Dominion. Because it's season 3 is when they bring in a Defiant. So yeah, I think the first 2 seasons start off slow, and then season 3 is when it starts to rock. So 3, 4, and 5, I think are the best seasons of DS9, in my opinion. But yeah, I think that's interesting that, you know, the similarities between these 2 shows. If you know the backstory, then you know why there's such a similarity between the 2. Both of them are good in their own way, and both of them are bad in their own way. But if I had to really, really pick, I'm still going to pick DS9, all because of Sisko. There was just something about Sisko that I favor Sisko over Sinclair and Sheridan. It's like, in all honesty, if I had to pit the 3 of them against each other, I think Sisko would win. Because Sisko is going to go, he's going to try to do diplomat, but when he realizes diplomatic routes are not working, he's going to do what has to be done without hesitation. The other 2 will still keep trying to, no, we have to find a diplomatic way and blah, blah, and wait till almost the last moment to do something. And I think that's the difference between, although there was something, because, like I said, I've said this before, Babylon 5 was shopped around, or the idea of a space station was shopped around, and there was something that I never thought about is Jeffrey Sinclair, the commander of Babylon 5 in season 1, liked baseball. Sisko likes baseball. And another thing is, people talk about why did he have to start off as a commander? Because that was the storyline. He starts off as a commander and becomes a captain. So I think that was probably just going to be the storyline in Babylon 5. He's going to be a commander, become a captain, lead the whole thing. Because I watched a video on that where if Sinclair character had stayed, he was going to be the one that married Delenn. The whole going back in time was not part of the storyline. The station was supposed to be taken forward through time, and that's what was supposed to happen. So because he left, they did have another way to. They had it set up to be rewritten just in case. The people who came up with it said, just in case, let's have some backup storylines, and that's what happened. That's where we get that he becomes Valen, because they point out in season 1 they never talked about Valen. Valen didn't become a thing until season 2. I was like, oh, they were covering their bait. They hedged their bets. So, and I thought about that, and I tell you what I would like to see if they brought back Babylon 5 is, I didn't say this, I don't know, I don't think I said it in the other one, is I'd like to see all the above. Like, have Sinclair be the commander of the station. For whatever reason, the Agamemnon, I can't say the name of that ship. Captain Sheridan has to come there. He doesn't really take command, but he has a ship there, stationed there. So he runs his ship. Sinclair still runs Babylon 5. They work together. And I would have loved to see some kind of storyline like that. That would have been awesome to have them both be there, leading the way, leading the charge to fight the war. Now, in the Babylon 5 storyline, I have to look at my history, see if I can find it. If I find it, I'll put a link for it. But in the storyline, it turns out, like I said, the station was supposed to go forward in time. They had that. He said they had it all planned out to season 5, where they would take the station forward in time and use it as a base of operation to become Babylon Prime. And also in that storyline, the Vorlon would get destroyed. So basically the Vorlons were supposed to get wiped out, and they didn't. And I don't think the whole Shadow War thing was really supposed to be a thing. And I think they were supposed to get wiped out too. But then it was supposed to be, once that stuff was over, that the warrior caste would rise up and defeat the Great Council and start the war over again with the humans. And that's why Babylon 5, and that's where the whole prediction, because in season 1 they talk about Babylon 5 getting destroyed. That was supposed to be what that was leading up to, is the warrior caste coming after them and starting the war again. And that's why they would go into the past, grab Babylon 4 and pull it into the future to use as a base operation, and it would become Babylon Prime. And that was supposed to be, they had it actually, I guess, set to do another 5 seasons based around that, the whole war with the Minbari. So really the Minbari were not supposed to become the allies. So they rewrote the whole storyline because the main character left. Which is interesting when you think about it. It's like they had one storyline if he had stayed, another one kind of ready to go if he left. So part of me kind of hopes they do bring back Babylon 5 just so I can see this other storyline. Because, again, still haven't seen the Road Home, because they talk about, because of that, they created the multiverse for Babylon. So it's possible, they could show that storyline. But there is the hiccup of where they've already made him Valen. But I'm sure they could find a way around it. There's probably a way around it. But anyways, yeah, so I've been watching DS9. And what's funny is there are episodes I've been skipping because I remember them. Like, I didn't like that episode. Didn't like that episode. Pretty much almost all of season 1 I'm about to skip. But like I said, 3, 4, and 5 are the best seasons to me. Dealing with the Dominion War, that was the best parts, was the Dominion War. But the Kaya Pak, or whatever she was called, the religious leader of the Bajorans, I didn't realize, I forgot, they killed her off in the first season. Well, not really killed her off, but they had her leave in the first season, and she just returned as a spiritual god in other season, in other episodes. But I thought that was interesting. I was like, I don't remember them killing her off so soon. But then that made sense, because in Babylon 5, the religious leader of the Minbari gets killed, and that kind of turns the Minbari against the humans. And the Bajorans kind of turn against the humans because of what happened to her. So it's like, so they still kind of follow the storyline. The only difference, really, I think the biggest difference between Babylon 5 and DS9, story-wise, is DS9 had 2 more seasons. Whatever, I mean, they're both good stories. I would love to see the original story. I just wish, what was his name, Michael O'Hare would have been in better condition. I hate to say it, I wish they would have cast someone else or recast the part, because I still would like to see that storyline as well. But there's also the side, what if the story wasn't as good? You know what I mean? What if it turned out to be a dud? But I don't think it would have been, because the way with Babylon 5, they really crafted it out. And they tried to do that with DS9, but I guess you could say season 1 and 2 had a lot of filler episodes. But if you got rid of those filler episodes, you would have 6 seasons instead of 7. Because you would eliminate one whole season if you got rid of the filler episodes, probably. And put them all into one season, and you got 6 seasons instead of 7. But, yeah. I don't know. I just, like I said, I prefer Cisco over the other 2 leaders on Babylon 5. There's just something about him. And it had nothing to do, I know some people might say, oh, it's because he's black and you can relate. No. Because it's not just black people who like him. There was something about Cisco that people like. And Avery, the actor, Avery Brooks, in real life, he was a kind of a manic person. But he's really a theatrical person. It's weird to see him when he's doing interviews versus when he used to play on a TV show called Spencer for Hire. He played the big tough black guy. So it's a real contrast to what he's like in real life. But one of the reasons that also made me like him more is the woman who played Major Kieran, I can't remember what her real name is. She got used to her name being mispronounced. Well, Avery, I think, heard her say her name and said, well, how do you say your name? And she tells the story of why she's such a fan of his, why she loves him so much. Because he made everyone say her name correctly. He said, and I just love that story for some reason. It's like the fact that he was like bold enough to just say, no, we're going to say her name correctly. And I was like, I love that. There's something about when people do that for other people like that. It's just a good story. It's just a positive feeling. And the Star Trek, even the DS9 crew, one thing I say about them, a lot of them still get along. They still talk to each other. And I think Star Trek has such for Star Trek to be successful the way it is, you have to have people who get along really well together. And that comes across in Star Trek. Versus other sci-fi shows where everyone just went to a separate way and that was that. Maybe one or two still keep in touch, but no one else keeps in touch. It's like, after that show, I'm done with it. Because then you got to wonder what was going on behind the scenes that none of them keep in touch, But Star Trek, it seems like they're all happy to see each other. They go to, especially the Generation crew and DS9 crew and Voyager crew. Those three, definitely. Now, as for the newer shows, I don't know yet. They haven't been doing the rounds like the other Star Trek shows. We'll see how they gel after the shows are gone. But, I talked longer than I thought I was going to. I was actually only shooting for 30 minutes. Excuse me. Can you get like that? In case you can't tell, I'm getting clogged up. The heat, I think, just unlocked me. I think talking has helped unlock it, and I can feel it draining, so I'm going to end it here so I can go blow my nose. Once again, I think I said in the last podcast, but people who are watching the sci-fi stuff, thank you. Definitely going to keep doing the sci-fi stuff. I just got to get out of this funk. This heat is kicking my ass. So I just got to get out of this funk and I'll be good to go. Because I was one ahead on the sci-fi, now I'm not. So I got to finish up to one sci-fi and I'm going to hurt and do the other sci-fi. I still won't be one ahead. I got to do at least 3 of them. And I want to try to do some react videos this weekend. Try to knock those out real quick. But overall, I am going to keep trying to do this. I need to, that's what I was going to do. I was actually, there was one day I was ahead of doing a bunch of stuff. I had the podcast, last week's podcast already done. I was going to do this podcast and I didn't do it. I had it all set up. I didn't do it. I was trying to get at least one podcast ahead and still keep making podcasts till I was at least 2 ahead and take a break. Didn't happen. So I need to just sit down and make some podcasts and knock them out. But it is what it is. Anyways, thanks for listening. Thanks for hanging in there. When I hit 30, I'll probably do another 30 episode special. But thanks again. You guys take care. Bye.